So, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This phone is my favorite phone ever. But in today's video, I want to talk about the iPhone 14 Pro Max's camera. I don't want to focus on the other aspects of this phone. I want to treat this device as a camera. And why do I think this is the best portable camera available in 2023? I don't think there's any better device, cameras, DSLRs, mirrorless, for photography that you can take anywhere, everywhere, that is this small, this compact, and this resourceful, that can do everything in this very small form factor. So, in today's video, I will talk about why the iPhone 14 Pro Max, in my opinion, is the best compact camera available for everyone, and why I do think it's worth it to upgrade for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, just because of the camera alone. So, if you are excited, do not forget to drop a like down below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get started. So, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is the perfect smartphone in my opinion. It runs iOS, it supports Apple Watch, it runs very well on the Apple ecosystem. It has an amazing 120Hz display, has an amazing speaker system, but in today's video I want to talk about why this device is the best camera, point and shoot available on the market for you that want a very small and very compact camera to take around on your trips and to take photos everywhere. Yes, in today's video I will explain you why this iPhone is so good at taking photos. Currently, it has one of the best compact and size ratio to quality available in any device. And I think this is going to change the camera industry forever. But I don't think this device is optimal for video, and I will explain later why, but I think that for cameras, there's no better device with this size available. So, the first thing that I think makes this iPhone so good is the main camera. The 48 megapixel main camera that Apple added this year. This camera sensor is insanely cool. You can take shots that look taken from a DSLR or mirrorless camera, like 8 times out of 10. If you expose it properly and you take it really good on the RAW mode that you can select on your camera app, then the photos here just look insane. They look perfect. Okay, they don't have that much backlight and blur because it's a small sensor, but now that Apple has increased the size for 48 megapixels, the blur has started to actually come up. And for a very small sensor, a very compact device like this, it's just insanely good, the photos you can take. And actually, sometimes you can take photos as good as a mirrorless camera or DSLR in a setting that it's very challenging. The colors are always great because the phone can do some trickery with the software where it makes them perfect. And on low light situations, this phone can also beat up mirrorless and DSLR cameras if they are not exposed properly. So, the iPhone's camera is extremely adaptable. It can take amazing shots with amazing lighting, and it can take amazing shots on low light. So, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, in my opinion, is extremely resourceful. Not because just it has an amazing 48 megapixel sensor, but also because it has 3 more focal lengths that are really, really important. If you don't know, focal lenses are equivalent on a smartphone to the DSLR lenses. So imagine on your camera bag, you bring with you 3 more lenses, 3 more prime lenses. This phone has 4 focal lenses. The 13mm ultra-wide camera, the 24mm main camera that shoots RAW photos with 48 megapixels, the 48mm equivalent with the 2x, so it's not a lens properly on this lens, you only have 3 lenses here, but it's more of a crop in on the 48 megapixel sensor, a 12 megapixel shot, to say the least. So it's equivalent to 48mm, it's 2 times the real 24mm camera. Then there's the telephoto, which is equivalent to a 77mm, and this one, I think it's the worst camera of them all, but it can take very different perspectives, and in my opinion, it's always great to have a telephoto on your phone. So, yes, these cameras make this iPhone very resourceful. You can go on a shoot for nature, on a city, pack very light, just your phone, some food, or a charger, a portable charger, and you can take amazing, amazing shots with this phone on a city. This device also enables you to take insane photography for people with portrait modes, because this portrait mode here is really, really good. With the telephoto or even the 2x or the 1x, now on 3 different focal lenses, you can take portrait modes. And that makes the iPhone 14 Pro Max even more resourceful. So, with everything that I've talked about until now, this iPhone seems to be extremely competitive with other cameras, because those cameras, you have to have a camera body, then a camera lens, and then you have to switch on between lenses which are extremely expensive and bulky and heavy, then you have to bring them around, switch out, it's extremely slow to switch shots, and you cannot take very fast moving objects. Imagine if you are in a car, you see something, you just want to pull out your camera, then the iPhone 14 Pro Max is the perfect device because you just pull it out and you have at your wheel 4 different focal lenses at your fingertips really fast. Like you can take 0.5 shot, 1 shot, 2 shot, 4 shot. Imagine on your device, you can pick up your phone and be like 0.5 ultra wide shot, 1x shot, 2x shot, 3x shot. You can take 3 or 4 different focal lenses, shoot in 5-6 seconds. Do this test. Pick up your phone and shoot as fast as possible with 4 different focal lenses. If you have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, if you have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, shoot with the different 3 cameras that you have, or even other phones, and see how much can you take in terms of seconds to take all those 4 shots. Then, if you have a mirrorless camera, shoot one photo, switch out the lens, shoot another photo, switch out the lens, shoot another photo, switch out the lens, and shoot another photo. And then tell me how much time did you take on the comments down below shooting all those 4 different focal lenses. And then you will realize why this phone is such a good camera for taking photos. So now let's focus on the 48 megapixel sensor, because I do believe that's the cream of the crop of this camera system. This sensor is the one that can take those amazing shots you see online. Those shots that can rival mirrorless cameras and DSLRs. This 48 megapixel sensor, it's bigger now, has more megapixels. I do think this sensor, being bigger, can give you more quality also, but reminded that this is not big enough, so it's scalable. Imagine the same size sensor has more pixels. This sensor was first introduced by Apple this year with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I can say you that it has changed the way that I take photos with this iPhone. Now, once I want to take the best shot possible, I'd have to turn on the RAW mode on the camera app, which is extremely easy now. It's just a little tap on the right hand corner, and it's extremely useful. This RAW mode gives you tons of information to work later on Lightroom, and then gives you the possibility to be creative with your shots. Then you can take shots of flowers and they can be incredible. You can go and take shots of cities and they will be incredible. Like, you can play around with so much, and this 48 megapixel sensor just gives you that detail that you want to zoom in. And finally, you can print shots with the iPhone 14 Pro and it will be insane. Before, if you printed out a shot from people, like a 12 megapixel from the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it will be having like pixels because the shot doesn't have enough definition to be printed out. But now, with the 48 megapixel sensor, you can do so. Other things that are also pretty cool with this sensor are the landscape shots, because now you have much more detail. The detail will appear much more easily because more detail, you can zoom in on the shot, on the landscape, and see individual stuff, individual subjects much better. And so I do believe this now can compete with that type of camera photography and camera style. But the one thing that I do believe this phone and future phones, future generations will have a problem competing is the video quality. This video that you are watching right now is being shot on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is my iPhone 14 Pro Max being shot on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And you can see the video quality is pretty good. I'm using a separate camera app, Cinema P3, controlling every single aspect of this video. Shutter speed, ISO, white balance, every single thing is on manual mode. Even so, this camera quality is not enough. I think I would prefer to have a mirrorless camera to shooting video, because this video still looks from a camera, from a phone. Does not look professional enough, in my opinion. I wouldn't shoot, if I had the possibility to shoot with a camera, I wouldn't shoot video with my iPhone. I don't have a camera, so I have to shoot all my video with the iPhone, but even so, I think that the video aspect of this phone is good. Cinematic mode is really good. Like, do not get me wrong, it works very well. I use it in some of my clips, but I don't think it's enough for me to switch over from a camera, if I had one, to this iPhone. I think that it still looks unnatural, doesn't look enough real for me to switch out, and would switch out from a camera to a phone. And then the video looks good for B-roll, the video looks good for social media, but for a YouTube video or even a client work, if you are doing some client work, professional work, I don't think the video is yet there. While the camera system, for sure it is. You can shoot professional photos with this iPhone right now, and I think almost no one would notice. Maybe a professional would, but normal people that are hiring you for doing this job are not. And I do think this phone is extremely powerful because of that. I think that having finally such a powerful camera on your fingertips, on your pockets, is extremely exciting. Now, this unlocks more creativity for more people. More photographers will search because of this, and I think it will impact so much on the camera business, because now Sony, Canon, Nikon, they will have to focus more in making better, cheaper cameras, because for $1,000, why would you buy a cheap camera if you could buy the iPhone 14 Pro Max, get a phone, get a media device that can watch videos, stream music, stream movies, then take amazing shots, amazing video, can make calls, FaceTime, iMessage, all of these things, and then connect to your watch, maps, I don't know, CarPlay, can do so many things this device can do, have an 120 Hz bright display, an OLED display with the contrast ratio being insane, one of the best displays on the planet, and then can be your camera. So for $1,000 you can get a small camera that can shoot cool videos, or you can get the best phone on the planet. There's also a very cool camera that can compete with this small camera that you are selling for $1,000, the same price as the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So yeah, you have to understand that this will shake up the market. We are getting now better cameras like the Sony ZV-10 or even the camera R8. But these cameras, I think they are too expensive still for the camera that they are. I think they are not competing enough with the iPhone 14 Pro Max that I think, in my opinion, will be the next camera for the future. I think the iPhones will surpass this niche of the camera market. These cameras are so good right now that I think that with the iPhone 15, 16, 17, they will keep improving and making this the best compact camera available. Yes, for photos, now in 2023 with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, I can say this is the best compact camera you will have. If you are undecided, if you want to buy your first camera just for photography, buy the iPhone 14 Pro Max and you will be more than happy. The only downsides would be video. Of course, if you need a video camera, go buy a mirrorless camera. But if you don't need a video camera, just need a photo camera, this will serve you pretty well. Be reminded to buy more storage on your iPhone. Do not buy the base model. Buy the 256, 512 or even 1 terabyte of storage if you want to shoot tons of videos and tons of raw photos, because they can take almost 100 megabytes, or even ProRes video can take 100 gigabytes of storage. So be in mind with that. Other than that, I do believe the other focal lenses, the 0.5, the 2x, the 3x, they have much to catch on until they reach the quality of the main sensor, the main 48 megapixel sensor, and that's when I want Apple to improve on the next generation of iPhone. Make the main sensor, the 48 megapixel sensor, bigger so it can catch more light and then create better videos. But also, do not forget to improve the ultra-wide camera and of course the telephoto camera. I want better lenses there. I want a lens that does not change in quality when I change from 1x to 0.5 or even from 1 to 3x. I want the same quality, just different focal lenses. That's your homework, Apple. Other than that, amazing job. The cameras on the iPhone 14 Pro Max are the best cameras on a smartphone that I've ever seen. They are a complete camera for photography, and for video, you have tons of work to do. Just make the sensors much bigger. But then you enter a different subject. Do you want extremely big cameras, bulky camera bumps on your device that is hard to use? Or do you want smaller camera bumps that can take very cool photos and good videos, let's say? Like, not perfect videos, no YouTube videos, but they can take good videos. Not good enough for professionals, good enough for social media, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Would you compromise having a bigger sensor for better video quality? Or would you choose having a small camera bump for having less video quality? Of course, me being a YouTuber, I would take the huge camera bump every day for having the best video quality available. I love AirDrop, which is another amazing feature for this camera. You can send photos and videos from the camera itself to your computer via AirDrop instantaneously and wirelessly, while with video cameras and photo cameras and other mirrorless cameras, you have to use an SD card. And that's one more point of failure that you can not assure that will keep working every time. So for these reasons alone, I do believe this is the best compact camera available right now. But in terms of video, you have a lot of work to do, Apple. Increase the sensor size if you want to, but if you want to compromise on that just to keep the smallish camera bump that you have right now, then it's fine for me. Just tell me and I'll buy a mirrorless camera for that. Thank you guys for watching. What do you thought about the iPhone 14 Pro Max? All the photos, all the videos that I showed you, I do believe this device is extremely complete. The cameras here are the best on a smartphone in my opinion, the most complete ones, and I think they are even better than some mirrorless cameras available on the market right now. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. Of course, while you're there, do not forget to drop a like down below. This has been Tech Summer talking to you here. Bye bye.